Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, and I have been learning about all of the most ridiculous things in Warhammer 40k from my co-host Bricky. But before we get into today's episode, if you want to support the podcast because you enjoyed today's episode, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous and support the podcast. You'll get access to things like our Discord, blooper reels if they happen, some real sweet HD posters. I won't elaborate on that. You can go check them out yourself. And yeah, you'll get a lot of cool stuff in the Discord. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Support the podcast. Bricky merch and book club shenanigans. Because the book club's a little more frequent this month.
Yes, book club. Normally, we just did the episode recently on Soul Hunter. Check that out if you missed it. However, because the Night Lords trilogy is the greatest thing ever, and it is 3 books, we didn't want to wait too long. So Blood Reaver, the second one, will be actually mid-August-ish. We're going to be doing that book club very soon, in only around 2 weeks or so, and then Void Stalker in early September. We're going to blow through all 3 quickly because they're amazing, and also it feels weird, either taking too long to get like 3 months worth of just Night Lords, so we don't get to read like other things, or no one wants to delay. A lot of the people who read Soul Hunter have already like read the whole trilogy because like this is great.
I've seen those comments where they're just like, I binged it, I had to.
Fucking great news. There's merchandise now. Ooh. New merchandise. Sorry. There's new merch. New merch is here. It is great. It is a wonderful long dark red, or what I might call maroon long sleeve that is heavily inspired by the Adeptus Mechanicus. There is a wonderful bit of binary on it. You may find out what that says on your own. It is going to be available on the website for exactly 40 USD. And also, if you purchase it with one of our prior hoodies or shirts, you will get a percentage discount on both of them. I forgot what I said it at. It was either 10 or 15%. But basically, you buy the Mechanicus one, or the Mechanicus inspired.
Yeah. It's inspired. It's not
inspired.
Yeah,
buy that one.
Inspiration from it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Buy that one with a hoodie or with a shirt, and then you'll get a percentage discount on both for this week only. So go ahead and make sure you grab it. The shirt will still be around longer than a week, but the discount will be from this episode to the next. So do make sure you get your hands on that ASAP. Orchid8.com, or check the link out in the description. I'm actually really proud of it. Our thumbnail artist actually did the design.
Hey,
so it should be pretty.
Ted
it should be
Zero.
pretty cool. Yeah, Ted did it. He did a good job. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
It's a little different than the other ones. It's a little bit more like, I don't know,
stylistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Anywho,
DK, you already know what we're doing today.
I do.
It should be quite obvious.
We did the Primarch last time, and now we're doing like the faction overview of the White Scars.
Yes, sir. And I'll be honest, it was a little hard to get a lot of stuff for this episode. Not because there isn't plenty to talk about with the White Scars, but because the Khan's pretty cool. And it was hard making this episode not about Khan 2.0.
I thought you were going to say it was hard to make it because everybody forgot about them. Because that's
also
thing,
true.
Right? Yeah, there's no records because we all forgot about them because fuck them.
The White Scars don't deserve this, man. The more I read about them, they almost feel like Salamanders 2.0, or maybe not 2.0, maybe like 0.9, because when you get past all of their Mongolian stuff and Mongolians were known for being quite savage, but the White Scars themselves kind of aren't, only really in combat. And once you get past all that stuff, they're actually really nice. We always have this issue that we've always had this to deal with in the past, where you're like, yeah, the Salamanders are the good guys. They're really nice. But they're also Space Marines in the Imperium. So naturally, they're not morally great in a sense. They're just like, we always
they're the best of the worst.
Yeah, I always joked, it's like, hey, there's in World War II, this Nazi guy decides to shield a German family from bullets and save their lives. Like, you could consider that noble, but the guy's a Nazi.
He's still pretty horrible,
yeah.
and he's still standing up for a really, really awful cause. But hey, at least he did one good thing.
Yeah, it's like that weird moral issue.
Yeah.
When everyone's so terrible, yeah, I don't know. The point being is that they will tend to put their lives above or below that of civilians. Being the salamanders, they tend to put civilian lives higher. The White Scars sometimes do that also. A little bit, I think maybe a little bit less so, but they still are very keen on saving lives and helping people, which is neat.
That is neat, especially for like Astartes and Imperium, because as we said, they're not usually great people that really give a shit about anything other than themselves and the God Emperor and whatever he wills. So,
yeah, it's important because they're obviously like, oh no, we're big important Space Marines. We don't care about regular humans and all that, or like serfs and servitors. Well, I guess you don't really need to care about servitors, but about the rest.
Servitors already kind of, yeah,
they're just brain dead.
Yeah.
That being said, though, it's some interesting other little bits of the White Scars culture that's interesting. I feel like so someone came to my stream a bit ago and was like, "Yo, Bricky, you do realize that the White Scars were based on Genghis Khan, not on Caesar's Legion, right?" And I'm like, "My dude, I know." I'm very aware.
Oh no.
The thing is that Warhammer has enough history buff boomers in its goddamn fan base. I'm trying to get new people in there. I'm trying to be like, hey, I know Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, get the Fallout crowd, you know? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Fallout New Vegas release date.
Oh god, New Vegas.
Oh my god, it's 11 years old. Oh no.
Actually,
no.
I was expecting more than that because I remember playing that shit on my 360.
Yeah, it came out in 2010.
I think I've moved houses 3 times since New Vegas came out, at least. So yeah, I was expecting like fucking 20 years or something. So I'm pleasantly I'm okay with 11. I don't feel like
you're okay with 11. I'm not okay with 11.
Yeah, well, you know what? Tough shit. That's what happens when you get old. As you get progressive, it's like, only 10, huh? Well, it's not so bad.
No, the student is getting snippy.
I'll take it.
But ironically, though, like the concept of what Genghis Khan did, the mixing of tribes to kind of like reunite, like or reform, like under an identity. Like I said, I know Caesar's Legion did it from Genghis Khan. I get it, but
he's Genghis Khan. We know. God, he's just trying to bring in some other historical figures into this. Come on, guys.
I'm sure someone in the comments said the same thing because I don't read the YouTube comments because I'm not insane.
Oh god, but, yeah. If you read the comment section, oh boy.
Yeah,
if you weren't insane, you're going to be insane.
That's the lesson you learned very early on in YouTube is the comment section is a vocal minority of very angry small people, and you don't want to read that unless it's a meme because sometimes there are good memes.
That's true. That's true.
So
if you see all good comments on a video, chances are you actually did something wrong.
That's fair. Anyway, here's a wonderful White Scars proverb.
Ooh.
The White Scars proverb is, if you can see us, we are dangerous indeed. But that is as nothing to the peril you face if you cannot see us, as all you can hear is our laughter.
Oh, I was going to say, you shouldn't be able to see a White Scar with them zipping around so much.
They're being so damn fast.
Yep,
you can see them, but they're just like blurs. They're like those
just white blurs. Yep.
They're like those little squiggly bits that get stuck in your eye fluid, and whenever you try to focus on it, it goes away.
Oh, what the fuck were those called? Yeah, the little, I know those. Those are.
I don't know what they're called, but those things, yeah.
Yeah.
Though it is interesting because unlike Genghis Khan, who was a horrible nomadic conqueror and like uber rapist.
Yeah, he was bad.
He did a lot of that.
Yep.
He, however, unlike that, the White Scars are actually not like that. They are not savages in that sense. They don't go around and do it for like and kill and murder for the sport or for fun. Mm-hmm. The White Scars have the vibe of being like a barbarian group because of their way of warfare, because of where they came from, because the Khan and the names and all that, but they're often seen as that barbarian by their other brothers, which is actually something that they tend to resent because they're quite the opposite.
Yeah.
The Khan instilled large amounts of imports on like calligraphy, like literature and painting.
Oh.
He's like,
so they're
Chogoris,
actually pretty well educated, and they can write, and they can do calligraphy. Okay,
they are educated in the ways of what I assume would be Chogoris, because not only did they remove their prior name, some of them even used their prior name as like a surname, but because they did their remove their prior name, create a new one, and have all like the scar on their face and all that, they are very dedicated to the culture of their homeworld. And so painting, calligraphy, literature, all that kind of stuff, probably philosophy too. That's something that they all take into pretty high regard.
Huh. I was I don't know why, but I just immediately pictured like full power armor Astartes White Scar, just like with a Bob Ross afro, just kind of making happy little trees on the canvas. And it amused me greatly. So thank you for that.
He's drawing that one image that you always see on YouTube with the samurai, like the samurai yo sound effect. And it's just him drawing that in between killing orcs.
Oh yeah, of course. He's painting with the blood of an orc, sure.
No, he's trimming a bonsai tree, but the tree is orc fungus.
I love it.
He's like
that's
snipping
a wonderful 40K.
Dude, that's perfect. Khan has a little bonsai tree, or maybe a big bonsai tree, in his fucking his capital ship's like bridge, and it's just an orc, and he comes up to it and he like snips it a bit, and the orc's like, ah.
Oh, that someone's got to make art of that, right? Someone's got to make the orc bonsai tree that the Khan is just snipping.
And he's like really proud of it. Like he'll go to his other guys. Like he goes up to a guy named Quinza, which is the Terminator like captain guy, and he's like, Quinn, I don't know, Za, we'll call him Za. Za, hey, look at my beautiful tree. He's got tears in his eyes because of how well it's been trimmed, and the orc is just there with like the 2 X's and the tongue.
And his ears are snipped a little bit, and he's got little cuts every. Oh yeah,
it'd be perfect.
Yep. We need that. So were they seen as barbarians just because like the other Astartes legions didn't like them, and they didn't like the way that they fought, and they never really interacted with them other than like, ew, look at the way they fight. They don't do traditional like drop pod stuff and all that. They just with their bikes and I bet they're savages.
I think it's a combination of that and their lack of knowing them. Because obviously their fight style being so fast and laughing while doing it, especially, is certainly against the natural way of warfare. But I would think that a lot of people, our normal pointing to, we always point to Guilliman and Dorn as being the uptight people.
Yeah.
So we'll point to them. Guilliman and Dorn probably saw them as, well, one, they came from a world that was in like feudal, or way back at like Renaissance period time.
Yeah.
But also kind of keeping those traditions, and also the fact that Guilliman and Dorn most likely freed a lot of worlds because a lot of worlds ended up in that period of time because of the Age of Strife, because of all the warp storms.
Yeah.
So they were probably just
survive that way.
Yeah, they were probably just constantly freeing a bunch of worlds from what they would assume would be barbarism and barbaric times. And the Primarch here was from one of those worlds, and they need to respect him and his beliefs.
Yeah. When they're
also
so used to like freeing them and taking them away from that barbarism, that a Primarch would embrace such barbarism and backwater towns. Probably, yeah, I guess that would annoy them quite a bit.
Also, they didn't know them. No one paid the White Scars any mind, and no one gave an effort to learn about them. You want to know a great exchange?
Yes, I do.
There is a wonderful exchange between all the brothers are talking together, and it's between the Khan and Fulgrim.
Oh,
and
God.
You don't know much about Fulgrim yet. We always talked about Fulgrim. He's the pretty boy.
Yeah, I just know he's a sexy man. Yeah.
Yeah, we always just we always joke that the hottest of them are like not Gilman, Sanguinius and Fulgrim. And Sanguinius is the nice noble hawk boy, but Fulgrim is like, I'm top shit. I'm hot shit. Snaps his fingers in a Z formation, goes in Beverly Hills. I always see that as Fulgrim. And considering the picture that Shai just posted, I'm going to you can consider that even more so.
Okay,
but he's very fucking full of himself.
No kidding. With seeing him like that, oh god, that's a slave giving him a scroll, isn't it? Okay, cool.
I mean, they all have a lot of slaves.
That's true, they do. That's fair. Okay.
Though it was they were having a conversation about Horus. I think it was about Horus being elected as War Master. And I'll read the excerpt. It says, Sanguinius looked at the Khan thoughtfully. I thought you of all of us would feel joy for Horus. The Khan shrugged. He's the best of us. I begrudge him nothing, and I have told him so, but it should never have happened. And Fulgrim says, so what? It should have been you. And Mortarion was like, Khan, I wouldn't have taken it. Like, of course you would have. It's like, I have no use for another title. My people give me enough. And Sanguinius smiled. My brother, I think you are most inscrutable of us all. I know what Rogel wants, and I know what Rabute wants, but even after so long, I have no idea what you want. So he wants to be left alone, said Fulgrim, to shoot off into the stars and hunt down Xenos on those delightful jet bikes. They're devilishly fast, I heard from a contact on Mars. Jagatai, I heard that you do strange things to your ships. The Khan shot him a heavy-lidded stare. I heard you do strange things to your warriors.
Oh, damn.
I can confirm, he do strange things to his warriors.
Oh, damn. Khan ain't taking no shit.
Fulgrim's slender face briefly flared with anger, but Sanguinius laughed. I wonder which one of you would win in a duel, the angel mused. I would like to see that. You both handle a blade like gods. Name the place, brother, Fulgrim said to the Khan. I'd even travel to Chogoris if you built a palace to keep the dust from my armor.
Oh.
The Khan felt the insult. It stabbed at him deeply, but his expression never changed. They would never know, none of them, how much their close fraternity rankled him. You would lose, said the Khan. Fulgrim grinned, but there was something fragile in it. So you would lose because you would treat it like a game, like you treat everything, and I would not. You would lose because you know nothing of me, and I know everything of you because you shout it from the turrets of your battle cruisers. My prowess remains unknown. You have some reputation as a swordsman, brother, but I make no boast when I tell you that I would leave you choking on it.
Oh.
He ain't taking no shit, man.
No shit. I put my money on Jagatai Khan.
Oh, I would. There's another thing we'll talk about later that I would absolutely put my money on Khan.
Way more, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of like the enemy that is unknown, commands the greatest fear because you don't know, because Khan fights fast, but Khan fights fast, but he doesn't run around showing his trophies of swordsmanship or anything. I mean, yeah, Fulgrim's good. He did kill a Primarch, but I assume that
he did, didn't he?
As far as I'm concerned, if Khan wanted to kill Ferrus Manus, he could have done it too. Who cares?
Khan's never had a chance to kill a Primarch, though, has he?
Khan only tried to kill Mortarion in that one duel, and the fact that he was even able to hold his own against Mortarion, who was like twice his height, not really, but very fucking big, is pretty impressive.
Mortarion was a demon Primarch at that time too, right?
No, he hadn't ascended yet.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I think he maybe had a little bit of warp energy in his veins or something, but
I was gonna say if he held his own against demon Primarch Mortarion, then it's like, whoa. Whoa.
That would be also impressive. But no, Mortarion was the idea of like the unmovable phalanx. He was nigh unkillable, but the Khan was nigh unhittable. Mortarion could barely land a hit on that dude because he's a blur of motion. And Mortarion will get hit a bunch of times and he's like, I don't give a shit.
Shrug that shit off. Yep.
Watch me face tank everything.
Oh, Mortarion.
Omortarium.
Oh,
I'm assuming the Khan is probably top 3 in terms of like, everyone always tries to argue who are the best at fighting, at the best like swordsmen, the best duelists.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the Khan is probably top 3. Ironically,
so Guilliman won.
No, definitely not Guilliman.
Oh, who would you put at number 1?
Oh, I don't know who's maybe the Lion.
Oh, okay.
We haven't talked enough about the Lion yet, but he's a nutty duelist.
Yeah,
I think it would be maybe Khan, Lion, and Kurz, because Kurz can see the future.
Oh, that's
and
true.
That's pretty handy. I think Angron is pretty good, but I don't think he's a great duelist. I think Angron's strength lies in like 1 versus 1,000.
Yeah.
As opposed to 1 versus 1. He's more about cleaving large, like, ranks of people, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's fucking good in combat, but...
Sure, yeah. Well, if you were dueling Angron and you were, like, kind of his equal and he just kept getting angry, wouldn't he eventually just, like, blow his
die because of his fucking butcher nails?
Yeah, because the spikes, right? So you just, as long as you can, like, keep up with him, if it's a war of attrition, Angron can't beat you, because he's just gonna blow his fucking head off.
Yep. I don't know. You know, we said not to, or this wasn't gonna be the Khan episode, but I told you that I was learning more about the Khan, and I was gonna talk more about the Khan. I'm sorry.
But and I feel like this is gonna be like I don't want to say the problem. This is gonna be like a continuing thing, because it's like, yeah, you want to talk about the faction, but how do you talk about the faction without talking more about the Primarch?
That was originally why we only did the 1 episode, because of that.
Yeah. Because it's like, you kind of, to understand the group, you kind of have to understand the Primarch, and it's like, you know, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That wasn't exactly the reason why, well, I mean, that's the reason I made that, or I did that little excerpt right there, is because it shows, 1, why Khan's a great duelist, but also, 2, the fact that the White Scars are not known well, and that's actually one of their great strengths.
Right.
Because I fully believe that Khan could have killed Fulgrim. Absolutely. Because Fulgrim knew nothing of the Khan. Because he doesn't give a shit. Because Fulgrim, the only thing Fulgrim cares about is himself. And he was bros with Ferris, but he's just a prick.
Yep. You can't prepare for Khan. You can't. He couldn't properly prepare for a duel with Khan. And Khan is just like, yeah, I've seen you fight like 1 billion times, and all that shit you say, I know what you're gonna do. Fuck it, I'll kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I like his stoic confidence. Back to more of the White Scar stuff, though. Often the White Scars names themselves they're very much like a Mongolian culture, of course. Very much like Mongolian and Turkish, or is Turkic? Whatever.
Yeah, sure. People from Turkey.
Yeah, the names are very much like Kailik Jagol, Ogol the Swift, Uruguay, Yahugal. I'm probably butchering all of these, but Chogon the Iron Stampede, Saghari the Thunderhead, like lots of those things. One of the really interesting ones was Quinza. I don't remember how to say his name properly. They definitely take a little bit of inspiration from multiple Asian-centric areas. Sometimes they go a little bit harder into the Japanese stuff. Kind of similar how you and I learn about the Night Lords, and it's not just Russia. There's like Polish, Ukrainian. There's a lot of other Eastern European countries that kind of go with it.
Right.
Romanian. So they have a little bit of the back and forth there too. Quinza was the master of the Keshig, which is the White Scars Terminator elite. Similar to how the Death Shroud were the Atramentar were the Terminator elite of other groups. The one that Shai just posted, that's the White Scars. Oh, that's the guy right there, Quinza.
Oh, I was about to ask if that's a picture of their Terminator armor.
It is kind of. It's a picture of like that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
That is the Quinza guy, however you say his name.
I was gonna say, usually like the Terminator armor looks a little different, a little bulkier, a little cooler, and I always like to see what the different faction like Terminator armors look like, whether it's Chaos or Imperium. They usually look a lot more like tanky and different, and a lot more, a lot cooler than the regular dudes.
They do. I think this is 30k armor, because I believe Quinza, whatever, I think he's dead. But as you can tell from his armor bits, though, both because of, well, maybe that's a little much the sword, but if you look at his shoulder pads and his side, it has that kind of multi-layered samurai armor.
It totally reads samurai. Yeah.
Yeah, so it gets a little bit of the other kind of variation. Because, like, Tau shoulder pads also have that big static singular piece that goes along with the Japanese samurai. But that one as well works more into a sword fighting character. Because, ironically, the Tau went the Gundam route and the shooty route, whereas samurai, I mean, they were pretty good with bows, don't get me wrong, but they, everyone knows
they're
of them.
mostly known for their samurai swords and their dueling skill and, being excellent blade.
Running around with their katanas and odachis and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which, by the way, katana is a shit tier sword compared to the nodachi. I'm just gonna say that right now. The nodachi is fucking cool.
Aren't they like 6 feet long and it's really hard to actually like wield one in combat? Is that the
nodachi? They were
usually,
I think they were usually used for anti-cavalry, I believe.
That makes sense because it's so long you could like stab someone off their horse without like getting in there.
Or
the
horse.
Or the horse, that's true.
I think I'm not, unlike most Warhammer fans, I'm not as big of a history buff, but yeah, the Odachi and Nodachi were fucking huge.
Yeah.
But regardless, the White Scar is obviously taking that culture and the names from Chogoris. Something that I actually messed up with in the last episode, I did this wrong. When the Emperor came to pick up Jagatai and all that, he had the concept that what the Emperor was doing was a good idea. It's like, and I said that was the Imperial truth, that he really liked the Imperial truth. That was wrong. The concept of humanity, doing their conquering, having them do their stuff, like, he's cool with that. The Imperial truth is the idea that humanity should conquer everything and everyone and bring them all under the rule of the Emperor and the Imperium. He did not like that. He very much hated that, actually. He thought the Emperor was a big stinky liar and kind of a piece of shit sometimes. And he had multiple talks with Malkador about that. And Malkador was like, it's a lie. We're lying to everyone, but it's out of necessity. Look what the fuck has been going on. You might see the Emperor as Mr. All-Powerful, Amazing Man, but he is constantly fighting off things you can barely understand while running in a galaxy-spanning empire while being him. It's not as easy as it may seem.
Yeah, that's, I suppose at the time, Biggie's job is not easy.
No, and that's maybe something that we don't really give him enough credit for, because we're always like, Biggie, look what you've done. Look how you treat Angron, you piece of shit.
You're bad
dad, but I can't say that there really does need. I mean, we are right on that one. He was a piece of shit for that, but
he was an awful dad. He could have prevented so much bloodshed and like, like every demon Primarch and every like Chaos Astartes faction. It's like all of this could have been prevented very easily by just not being a shit dad.
You know what would have been a really good book that may be kind of hard to write, but it would be I think would be a smart idea. Having the Emperor like a little backstory about his degradation of his morals, like perhaps really early on, fixing up Terra. He was actually rather sympathetic, very kind to civilians, like all matters, and then with time he had to make really rough decisions. Perhaps that decision with the Thunder Warriors like was actually weighed incredibly hard on his conscience, and it really fucked him up. And ever since then, perhaps he's like slowly become more robotic and less sympathetic and less human. The degradation of his morality and turning more into like a machine would actually be, I think, it would fit. It would make sense.
Yeah, that would be a good read though. Like, if the Emperor actually started out, like, with all of his wits, and he's super kind, and he's super generous, and then just slowly, as time goes on, it's like, he just degrades into sort of the Biggie that we all know that's a bad dad, and he doesn't, like, see himself as a bad dad, he's just making these calculated decisions that seem like the right thing to do at the right time, and he's had thousands upon thousands of years of mental and moral damage, and at some point he just becomes kind of a hollow shell.
We have not read Master of Mankind. That might make it easier. They might do some more stuff like that. Ooh, it's written by Ademski Bowden. Let's go. Maybe I do need to read it.
Maybe
I have not read that yet, but
I was gonna say maybe after the Night Lords and after the fun book, maybe we have our next contender, eh?
Well, I mean, after the Night Lords books, we gotta read Caiaphas Cain, Hero of the Imperium. So we'll see. Anyway, on a side note, back to the con stuff. There's actually a nice quote that I think amplifies also the saving people aspect of the White Scars that I was mentioning earlier. So it was something about them fighting together to stop Horus. I think this is where this context comes from.
Okay.
I might be wrong in the time frame, but the point still stands. It says, quote, "I anticipated slaughter long ago," said Dorn, "and I regret that his chain of events come to pass, but we cannot respond to whatever provocation Horus presents to us. We cannot let ourselves be lured out. We cannot follow his plan. We will make ourselves weak, then all is lost." So since when was saving mankind from the darkness a sign of weakness, said the Khan. "Sanguinius, my brother and comrade, what do you see? Lend me your foresight." Sanguinius shut his eyes. Like that, he appeared drawn and tired, a funerary monument to himself. Dorn suppressed a shudder. "My sight is not so clear as father's," said Sanguinius. "The future is ever in flux. Only some events," he paused, finding the words hard to say, "only some events are certain." So, "Do you see me? What will be the consequences of inaction? I see fire and blood and a world laid waste if you do not act." "And if I act?" said the Khan. Sanguinius opened his eyes to look at him. "There is a grave risk to you, a confrontation unlooked for, and if you survive, a flight from one danger will into greater peril. Now, who will I face? I cannot divine. Will I save lives?" Sanguinius nodded. "Many. That is what I was made for," said the Khan. "I will ride out." And then he leaves.
Ooh, that's really cool.
It's like, shit's gonna get really bad. 3 Primarchs are gonna die. Myself, Ferris, and Horus. It's like, but will I save many lives? Yes. My decision is final. I'm gone.
Damn. That's a heroic quote. That should be like, hey, do you want to know what the Khan stands for? That. Because that's
what the White
big.
Scars stand for.
Yeah.
It's strange that the dudes flying on Mach 5 on motorbikes, laughing their asses off as they cleave aliens and people alike. and then they're like, "No, please, women and children into the shuttles first. Come on."
Yeah. Damn, I guess I didn't realize how much they cared about like saving civilians and saving like people and just being upstanding like that. Because like you said, like when you think of the White Scars and zooming around laughing and killing, it's like, okay, like they're just in it for the blood thrill and they don't really fucking care. But nope.
No, they're noble. You think that they're the savage Mongolians. You think they're the Genghis Khan era people.
Yeah,
but they're really not. They also have really little regard for the ecclesiarchy and the imperial creed. They think the whole emperor as a god is a whole bunch of mega horse shit, which makes
and
them
they'd be right.
which makes them, as the kids like to say, pretty based.
Oh my god. I thought you were gonna say pretty woke, but yeah, I guess they are pretty based. Sure. God.
And you could do woke too. Whatever, man.
You could. Yeah.
Cringe
detected.
detected.
That's fine. Oh god.
No, they believe they are white pilled and based.
No.
They actually believe that the destruction of all the enemies of the Imperium is actually instead to help prepare the Emperor. What the fuck am I up to today? Prepare the Emperor.
Empanadas is what the problem.
Dude, empanadas are killer. They're love empanadas.
So oh god. Don't put them in front of me though, because I'll eat the whole fucking plate, dude.
Same. But anyway, they're going to go ahead and destroy all the enemies of the Imperium so that when the Emperor will eventually one day rise from the Golden Throne and reunite the galaxy. That's kind of their mentality, is that one day he's just gonna decide, you know what? Being crippled is cringe. And he's just gonna stand up.
Yep, yeah, being crippled is so cringe. I'm just gonna stand my skeleton ass up off this throne and let's get down to business. Yeah, sure.
Also, the couple of things interesting about their armor is that the lightning bolt on their armor is actually has a dual purpose. It's both to signify the speed of their tactics. You know, the lightning bolt means go fast.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, it honors the scars that they wear on their faces. Because they have all of their facial scarring, it kind of adds that. The lightning bolt often on their helmet is to signify that they actually have the scar beneath their helmet. It also is to pay homage to the Stormers. So another interesting thing that many people know is that White Scars are actually pretty down with the Psykers.
Oh, really?
They were instrumental in establishing the Librarius. Remember him? I think it was Sanguinius and Magnus.
That's right, they were. I forgot I just assumed every Astartes fucking hated Psykers.
No, like World Eaters do. Night Lords aren't a fan either. Mortarion, definitely not.
No.
But not all of them, no.
Okay.
The White Scars Psykers are actually... They're very interesting because they all have their own style. Like Salamander's Psykers do have like fire powers and stuff, which is kind of cool. They have like fireballs and shit. They've got a really cool ability called Drake Skin, where they like create this like layered dragon protection over their bodies. It's fucking neato.
Oh, they're like D&D mages. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Psykers are just mages. They're just wizards in a sense. But they are a lot bigger into like blasts of wind and storms. Often Storm Psykers are more for Space Wolves, which are, you know, Space Wolves don't think Psykers exist or something. It's really funny.
Well, Space Wolves just hate Psykers and magic in general because Lehman Russ is a big dumb jock that just wants to punch people in the face, right?
It's a bit of a it's a short version of events, but you got the right idea.
Okay, cool. The general, until you flesh it out when we eventually do Space Wolves. Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll go with that. But the White Scar Psykers are known as the Storm Seers. They have like giant gusts of wind energy. They create like tornadoes and huge hurricanes and shit. Like the really powerful stuff. Often they'll just go up to someone and just fucking backblast them like a right click from a pyro in Team Fortress 2. Or sometimes they'll even do that to their own troops, which is great.
They go fast?
I think they have a psychic power in game that gives them +2 to all their advance and charge rolls, which is, since they can advance and charge, is like a huge deal. They go
so
up to
they just traverse the whole map just by casting the spell on someone?
I'm just imagining like a jet bike flying in the air, and he turns around, he's like, "Give me a push, Ungol Makag or whatever," and then the Storm Seer goes, "Well, bam!" and he just does like 40 front flips into the enemy. He's like laughing. It'd be great.
That's terrifying. To see a jet bike just like, you thought I was going fast before, hit the extra jump jet, and the guy just like flips him forward with a spell, and whoo.
You'll never catch me, Mortarion. Not when I switch into maximum overdrive. You don't get that reference because it's a SpongeBob.
Yeah, sorry, I don't watch SpongeBob. I was gonna say you could do a Fast and Furious thing where the you know, he kicks in the nos and
back when Fast and Furious was about racing.
Oh, that's right.
Can you imagine it's like a White Scar Marine? He's sitting on like the swings at a playground, and he's like, "Push me, Ogle," and he hits him. He just like he goes around, like does 360s 5 times until he gets stuck on the swings. It's like, let's go.
I didn't even imagine him getting hit. I just imagine like a little White Scar child, and then like a Storm Seer behind him. It's like, "Daddy, push me," and he like literally casts like a fucking tornado that just sends the kid flying. Like the chains on the swing break, and he just sends him flying like across the fucking I don't know. He sends him like a mile away.
And then all the other White Scars are like,
the
other White Scars are like, first one to go pick up Oshag wins, and they all start sprinting.
Yeah, it's a race to go pick up the kid. Yeah.
Actually, that's interesting. Speaking of things that are slow, did you know that the White Scars? I might have this wrong. They either don't have any, or they absolutely disdain dreadnoughts.
Really?
They detest dreadnoughts. They believe that when a warrior, Well, when a warrior dies, their soul should be freely traveling the afterlife, and it should not be confined. It should float on like the plains of the afterlife or whatever. So I don't know if they have 0 dreadnoughts, because obviously you can take White Scar's dreadnoughts in the game, and I feel it would be kind of weird if that was the case. But if they do have dreadnoughts, they have like a teeny tiny amount. They detest the use of dreadnoughts.
I guess if their philosophy is, the soul should roam free on death, I guess they probably would be pretty not big fans of dreadnoughts. I guess dreadnoughts would be pretty cringe. Am I right?
It's pretty cringe.
Yeah, cringe detected with dreadnoughts.
We know of one dreadnought, and his name is Malkarian, and he is not a happy man.
No, he is not. He only woke up because he heard bolter fire.
Bolter fire.
What a Chad. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah, I guess because GW says that GW has official White Scar dreads. So I guess that perhaps if the warrior's final wish is to still be in a dreadnought and still serve, then I guess that's, they probably wouldn't tell him no. But yeah, they do not like dreadnoughts.
Gross though. They're ugly looking. It looks like a fucking egg.
That's called a contemptor. That's called a contemptor dreadnought. It is also known as.
I was like, their dreadnought is Humpty Dumpty. Like, what the fuck?
It's because of the white paint.
And it's also really like rounded everywhere, and it's because most dreadnoughts are like big old fucking rectangles with feet. But this one is just so rounded and weird looking. And
dude, could you imagine if they put a guy in a dreadnought, but they replaced his legs with like tires?
Man, that's what they should have done. Like, so it's kind of like
he's like a monster truck.
Exactly. Like, I was imagining like, what is it? Is it the Lord of Skulls that's on like the tank bottom?
Yeah.
Like, do that except with like these big old monster truck wheels, and you put that thing on top of it, and it just goes Mach speed. Everybody would want to be a dreadnought. Go fast, even in death, right? Oh, it'd be great.
Even in death, the speed force will not stop me. My name is Jagatai Khan. I'm the fastest man alive.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh shit, what is that?
That's someone's kit bash of a dreadnought with wheels.
See, you do something like that for a White Scar, and it's like, oh hey, maybe these dreadnoughts aren't so bad. Yeah,
it's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because the White Scars, I think they're actually a lot more keen on killing Xenos than they are keen on killing other Imperial or Chaos-based people. I'm trying to remember why. Because that was the one thing.
If they were Chaos traitors, I mean, maybe because it's like, oh, you were once our brother, and we don't really want to kill you, and we're such nice people. But Xeno scum can get fucked, and they were never good, and they're always awful. Maybe.
I mean, they really like killing orcs. I know that. I know they really like killing orcs. They're a big fan of that.
Is there any specific reason? Is it just because they're a difficult enemy, or it's fun to fight them, or they just like killing orcs?
I actually don't really know. That's a great question. Dang it! It's simultaneously difficult to do research on the White Scars because they don't like to be known very well.
We'll just say it's because they can run over lots of orcs.
There is a story about the Khan fighting orcs, if you want to hear that story.
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
They're doing this big fight against this large orc group, and it was I think it was a part of the main Primarch book called The Warhawk of Chogoris. So if you really want to read that book, I guess spoilers, but so he was making, I haven't read it myself, but he was on his way to go fight a bunch of orcs, and there's big orc dealio, whatever. And one of his, I think his first like Khan guys, a close friend, someone important, this guy named Gyahun, I think is his name. Okay. He died. A war boss killed him, and he hit magma, lava, and his power pack exploded, igniting into a big bubble of flame. And everyone kind of stopped. Like all the White Scars just halted, like with utter disbelief that this guy is dead. And even the orcs kind of were like, what was going on? Zog. the Primarch, like, I guess they had like big thick raging amount of lava and everything around them, and the Primarch Khan kind of looked, and he said 2 words. He said, "Pull away," and all of the White Scars and the Luna Wolves they were fighting with withdrew backwards, and then the Khan changed his demeanor to from like a big kind of flamboyance. I don't want to use the word flamboyance because that's Fulgrim, but a more like flamboyant fighting style to like a quote unquote Night Seer menace. And it says he swung his sword about him languidly, loosening up, cutting the air into whispers, and the orcs themselves hung back, bellows snuffed out, bravado shaken into wariness. And then he started to run. And then he started to accelerate faster and faster and faster. And he started to swing his sword in a speed that was like barely registering to even the Astartes' eyes.
Whoa.
And it says, under the gathering shroud of elemental vendetta, it says he killed them all. If he had slain freely before, now the carnage was so complete that it scraped the boundaries of both the divine and the diabolical. Even the war-hardened Astartes, used to witnessing prodigal exercises of violence, were completely silenced by it. The orcs never laid a claw on him. He single man danced through giant hordes of orcs, slaughtering them consistently as the screams of the orcs would start to be like transmitted over the waves, whatever the hell.
The Voxcasters or whatever.
One of the Luna Wolves wanted to try to join him, and then the Quinzag Keshe guy was like, no, only observe. It says the Khan was almost invisible, hidden behind a curtain of severed flesh and thrown blood. A primordial force burning through the Xenos ranks, inviolable and darkly magnificent. For the first time in the campaign, the greenskins started to run, to scramble away from the devil that tried to devour them. And as they turned, cowering in the shadows, with their backs carved open and necks broken, they cowered into the building, in which then the Khan entered the building and kept going, and none of his armies followed him. All that emerged from the far side of the gate were alien screams, one after the other, overlapping and smothering a chorus of terror and panic that went on and on and on and never relented, and after a while became impossible to listen to.
Oh my god.
The dude's like, forgive me, master. I have to go all out one last time.
Whoa. To make the orcs turn their backs and flee in terror. That's wow. He's
a good swordsman. I think he would have bodied Fulgrim. Maybe not bodied Fulgrim, but he would have hurt Fulgrim.
Yeah, I think he would have fucked Fulgrim. If he went all out against Fulgrim, I don't. Oh boy, yeah. When you said top 3, yep, agreed. Though, comically, when you first said that, for some reason I just pictured like the Bart meme where he's like, I'm gonna throw my fist in the air like this. If you get hit, it's your own fault. And he's just walking forward like that. That's, I don't know why I picked just little Bart in like some Astartes power armor with a sword. Yeah.
I like the idea of Lisa. It's like, he's so Jagatai, so predictable. Gonna use his jet bike for the battle. Good old jet bike, never fails. There's actually a little bit of a discussion after that part too, where the Khan, for a while, after the battle, the Khan kind of sat down with the leader of the Kesheg, the Quinzag guy.
Yeah.
And for a while they didn't say much, but then the Khan said it was weakness. He said at last, like, no one says it. Quinzag replied, calm as ever. It's like, I've lost warriors before. It's like, but he was with us at the start. It had to happen sooner or later. It's like, did it? Nothing is eternal. Some things are. A good blade, the wind on skin, an oath. The Khan let slip a crooked smile. Just what would make you angry then, Za? He asked. If you became, in some way, like other men, the master of the Keshig said. If you had seen him die and not done what you did. If you had let one of them, just one, live. Then, Kagan, I would have been angry.
Wow.
So it's like, Yeah, you did the right thing there, Khan. If you let a single orc leave, I would have been like, wow, you a bitch.
Yeah, I mean that's to be expected of the Khan and the White Scar, you know. So
This was just Khan episode 2.0.
That God, that's so crazy. Like to go through that many orcs like that is fucking wild. Holy shit.
It's pretty cool. The White Scars are some badass, dastardly ass dudes, and they are really, really cool. I am very pleased with how they've come out as knowledge has resurfaced, and as I've learned more about them, it's pretty cool. I love them quite a bit now. They might not still not my favorite legion or anything, but I have a lot of respect for the White Scars, especially people who are like diehard White Scars fans. Because I see a lot of people playing White Scars because they're strong in like a meta. I don't really see a lot of like die-hard, live and die White Scar guys with tons of speeders, bikes, and like librarians.
Yeah.
So I am very pleased with them. I don't have anything else. I didn't want to go too long for this episode. I wanted to just talk about some cool shit I found and some cool White Scars stuff. I'm sure there's more, but if there's diehard White Scars fans that know more, well, you know what? You keep it to yourself, because the White Scars would do the same.
Or you can leave it in the comments, and we won't read it.
And I won't read it anyway.
Well, yeah,
Shy might, though.
Shy might, she might, but if it's a bad one, you might end up as a meme on like Twitter or something. So you know,
Fortnite, we about to get down.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get fucked anyway. So
yeah,
you know.
True.
Anyway,
any questions on the White Scars, DK?
So no questions, but I was surprised because like we were saying, it's like, oh yeah, they're kind of like Mongolians. So I was like, oh, you know, Genghis Khan, they're probably all fucking brute savages, and oh, they're laughing as they're slaughtering. It's kind of cool to find out that they're all about, you know, they're really cultured. They do calligraphy, they do painting, they do philosophy. They're all about protecting the civilians. It's kind of cool to have like your perception of a legion just totally 180'd from what you expect, and find out they're actually pretty good. They're pretty good guys.
All right, well, that seems to end our episode. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Do be sure to check out the merchandise, the new merch, also over at orc8.com. Mine has been Bricky. You can find me at Bricky. I stream like almost daily. Come check it out. We're playing Bloodborne and Fallout. Let's go. Ooh. DK, where can they find you? And what are you playing?
DK Diamantes everywhere except Instagram, twitch.tv/DK Diamantes. What am I playing? I've been playing the Back 4 Blood beta a little bit. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's over by the time this video goes up, though.
Shy, what is that?
Oh, that's the laughing guy with the
Kek W meme. Where'd you find that?
Jagatai Khan.
No!
Jagatai Khan.
No!
He's not Jagatai Khan.
That's supposed to be my thing. No, you can find Shy, quite shallow. Cut the feeds. Cut the feeds.
Cut the feed.